Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 3 and with the member are Imam Al-Fatah, Akmal Taufikur Rahman, Fahmi Ramadan, Luqman Hakim, and the last is M. Rizky Gunadi. My name is Imam Al-Fatah. My student number is 1921222112. Alright, in this video, I want to explain about what is word teaching and assessing. Talking about this material, firstly, we have to know about triangle circle. Triangle circle, you can look it on the slide. Triangle circle are called by the relationship between learning targets, instruction, and assessment. It's the important thing when we are doing teaching learning. In triangle circle, in the middle of it, there are learners. So in the first step, the teacher have to know the learning goals or outcomes, where in this step the teacher have to think what do the teacher wants to the students to learn, and then move to second step. As after the first step is learning goals and outcome or objective, and the second steps in the triangle circle is assessment. So in the second step, the teacher have to do the assessment. In this assessment, the teachers should know about what will the students do to show what they have learned. After we decided what the students learn in the first step, so what did the students understand, or what did the students know about what they has learned. And then the third is classroom activity. As after the teacher do all of these types, from the first is learning course and then assessment, and then next step is classroom activity. In this classroom activity, the teacher have to think about what will the teacher do and what will the students do. And then the teacher also made to define the outcomes by extracting information from the student. How to do that? Trust needs analysis, student to student, and also student-teacher interaction. And the last is student self-assessment. Alright, we move to next slide. The assessment has a function as the key to check on learning and giving the important information to the teachers. And this process name or in this process is cyclical. As instruction is a process of providing support to learners through assessment and teaching. In this definition, teaching and assessment are integral process in learning. Biggs and Tang 2011, Wigging and Mitzi 2005 states that we know that when our students understand the goals or intense learning outcome of a course and are aware of the evidence we plan to collect in order to support their learning and evaluate their progress. Our students are more likely to meet or exceed our expectations. And it is important to emphasize that the starting point in the teaching and assessing the learner's progress is to define or explain clearly about our goals, and we need we need to share and discuss it with the students. So, what do the teachers want students to learn? The teacher must decide not only what they want or what the students want to learn from their experience in the classroom, but also the teacher have to give a chance to the students must to look for more knowledge and learn from the outside of school. Alright, in next slide, that there are what is worth assessing. In word assessing, initial planning of instruction come from three sources. The first is the teacher's goals and objective. So before doing teaching learnings, the teacher have to decide what the goals and the objective of learning. And then the second is the important performance where the teacher want the students to learn how to do it or how to do what the students have learned in the classroom. And the third is the teacher have to plan about the many form of assessment that use. Alright, maybe that is from me, and the next material will be explained by my friend. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Ahmad Taufik Rahman, and in this segment I will define how do we align our assignment and classroom activity with our learning goals and outcomes. First, we have to defining learning. Learning is a process of formulating new and more complex understanding of the world, and process of revising and refining mental construct, understanding how we think, speak, and behave. In short, learning is defined as acquisition of knowledge, skills, attitudes, value, and experience. This definition will determine the nature of our assessment, tools, process, and decision. Our teaching assessment should reflect such multiple and complex process. Now we have to defining the learning outcome. Learning outcomes state what our students should know and able to do at the end of the course, and this is the result of all of our activity, lesson assignment, feedback, and tests. Learning outcome are explicit statement of expectation or criteria that describe the skill, knowledge, attitude, and capabilities that our student should achieve as the result of our work with them during the course. Sharing overall learning outcomes will help students in understanding the course and help them to develop the better understanding during the learning process. Now this is the example of learning outcome. First is by the end of the course, student must show they can apply the in-class defined criteria to the evaluation of televisit news report. So the learning outcome from this point is student can apply an in-class defined criteria in evaluation television news report. The next example is at the end of this course, student will able to write a short news story about the current event. So the learning outcome from this point is student able to write a short news story about the current event. And the last example is in order to pass this course, student must demonstrate that they can identify the difference between factual information and opinion in story about current event. about the current event. So the learning outcome from this point is student able to demonstrate and then identify the difference between factual information and their opinion in a story about the current events. The next point will be presented by my partner.
Alright, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello, I'm Fahmi, and now I will continue to explain about Akmal's explanation before. And now let's move to the next point. And here we have connecting learning outcomes to task. The overall goal statements that frame activities in a course are provided in learning outcomes. They are the starting points for activities. But we also need to understand what is the specific learning is involved in a task and what an assessment task is actually measuring. For example, is our task related to the one or more of the following aspects of learning? If yes, which aspect of the learning process is involved? Now let's see the several aspects of the learning process. There is the first, knowledge and simple understanding, which is declarative and procedural. It is know what is it, and know how is it. And then the deep understanding and reasoning. This is a deep understanding and reasoning about the learning outcome itself. And then the skill. The skill here is the development of the or the proficiency after the learning outcomes. And then the product, which is the performance of the learning outcomes. And the last is the effect, which is the personal development, such self-efficacy, self-assessment, and goal settings. And now let's take an example of learning outcomes. By the end of the course, students will be able to independently, safely, and successfully bake a cake with a minimum of guidance. In order to achieve these learning outcomes, there is
several micro-level activities that is required, such as how to set and use an oven for the first, and then the meaning of terms such stir, beat, blend, and so on. Uh, and also the uh, skill how to read the instruction and follow the directions of the cooking, for example. Such like that. And now let's move to the uh, next point of learning outcomes, that is taking stock. As the above example, once we have spelled out the learning outcomes for our course, we can design the ongoing classroom assessment activities that reflect and represent them. The learning outcomes identify what we want our students to know or be able to do, and what value by the end of the course. Wiggins and Mexiga in 2005 have popularized that the idea of background design as a useful way to plan activity in a course by working backward from the intended learning outcomes to the assessment tasks and instructional activities, which is we identify in advance. And next, the alignment. This alignment can occur in relation to different goals for learning within different language learning contexts and across a range of purpose. Alignment is not a new concept of in assessment. Basically, it is a fundamental principle of criterion reference assessment, that is assessment tasks shall align with, and then reflect and represent what we expect our students to learn and provide the benchmark by which we will judge their achievement or mastery. So that's all for the matter of learning outcomes.
Okay, thank you very much for the time that you have given to me. Let me introduce myself. My name is Umar Hakim, and in this occasion, I'd like to present our topic, the next topic of our group, that is designing assessment for a course based on horizontal and vertical perspective. Well, start with the horizontal plan. This is intent, the learning outcome and assessment tasks. And then for vertical plan, it contains of day by day and activity of the course. So as I understand, or as I know, that horizontal plan, it's about the goals of learning activity, and then for vertical plan, it's about learning objective or objective of learning. So horizontal need for long period as the learning activity is going, and then for vertical is the activity that the day by day or the assessment or a task is doing in that time. And horizontal and vertical can relate, can connect with the well planning. And here we have some consideration in doing or in designing the planning of a course. First one is reflecting our philosophy, our teaching philosophy. The teacher should know what the method, what the way to teach or to share the material. Teachers should know the character of our students, and teachers should know how to make our class to be more interactive and more communicative. And here there are, or those are three. First one, three philosophy, teaching philosophy. I mean, the first one is classical humanism. This learning activity is focused and content centered. It means the learning activity is focused with the content or the material in the learning activity. And the next one is progressive. It's about student-centered. This learning activity is focused in the student as the main role of the class activity. We can say this is curriculum of 20 and 13. The next one is reconstructions. This is a learning activity that focus in assessment. Yes. The next one is exploring various contexts for alignment. Those are five. First, benchmarks or standards. This is guiding all decision for making some decision from the curriculum development to the instruction and to the ongoing class activity. The next one is curriculum guidelines. This is a point or references for a teacher in defining their own teaching outcome or their own learning outcomes for an individual class. We can say this is it seems like a curriculum. The curriculum provides some goals and then teacher can follow their learning objective based on the curriculum. The next one, external test, is about test preparation course. The next one is textbook. This is the expectation for learning in a course. And the last one is need analysis. This is a tools for gathering the information before or in the early or in the new classroom activity. I think that's all for me. I give it back to the moderator. Thank you very much.
Well, let's continue to another topic. Here there is a template for course planning or syllabus design. What it is? Let's see the purpose first. So the purpose of making this course planning is that it is offered as a useful model which might be used at a later time, and also it can be used as a homework assignment or as an in-class activity. In another word, it will help teacher to clarify our understanding of the course and also to develop a systematic plan for course activities that will respond to the particular learning and teaching context of the course. So later there are several questions, and then the response of the question will help teacher as individual to clarify understanding of the course. So after making this course planning, teacher will know what should they do for the course itself. Okay, let's continue to another point. Here there are 3 steps of this template. There are 3 steps of making this template. The first step is focused to explore critical background information that situates the course within key feature of the teaching and learning context to help to identify the specific characteristic of the course. which will influence the decision we make in course planning. Well, the first step here will the teacher will gain the critical background information from the question. So later the response of the question will have impact to make a decision in course planning. So let's see the example of the question. The first, why is this course necessary? Why, what precisely is its purpose? How restrictive are the expectation? That's the question for the first point. Number two, who are the stakeholder? Here there are three, that is student, teachers, and stakeholder. The students, are they have a background relevant to the course, or how old are they? And then the teacher, are they are the teacher is the teacher have educational background, are the teacher have additional background, or are they have experience relevant to the course or program. And then for the stakeholder, like uh, owner, parents, or coordinator, are they have impact or influence in the course. Okay, next is number three question. Where will the course take place? What are the key features of the learning space? What are they? Here, it may be classroom, class that can use in the course, or maybe computer lab or physical space in a school, and so on. And then the material, what the material that we can use for help in teaching, like photography facilities, paper, chalk, and so on. And then the resource that we can use, like a blackboard, interactive board, computer, or projector, and so on. And then the fourth question, number four question, is when will the course take place? Here is total time allowed. How many time in a month? How many time you may contact day? How many time you may contact hours? And then how is contact time subdivided? A week and hours here. So that is the question for the first step. Well, after collecting the previous question, now we are going to the second steps. The second steps here focus on the specific detail. So let's see the example here. The first question, what are the intended learning outcome for the course? Means that here teacher will identify the outcomes of their course for the student. The second question is, how will I evaluate the overall effectiveness, impact, and usefulness of the course? Number three, how will I know my students have learned what I have taught? Here, the teacher will collect the evidence that their student has achieved what is the goal of the course. And then the last question is, what will be taught? Here, the teacher may to make a mapping content, and also along with the teacher will make a mapping content along with the time, and then later it can be used as a plan for teaching their students. So we're going to the last steps. Here the last step is fill the table that connect day-to-day assessment with overall course. Well, you can see the table. There are time allocation, intended learning outcome, assessment. Here is evidence collected and the task, and the last is activities purpose events resource. So that's all the 3 steps of making course planning. I think enough from me. Thank you.